Creative Pro Wrestling fans, I am longtime independent wrestling fan Robert. Hunting season was a very good show from the Knights of Columbus in Lynbrook, New York. I don't know if the crowd was as big as it was for last month's show, Top Guys Only. Nonetheless, we kick off with a kickoff match, as we see in tag team action, unless I'm mistaken, there might have been their Creative Pro debut. Officer Ronnie Moses and guard dog Malcolm Murray, collectively known as Security Incorporated, they took on Jay Macias and Pat Fitzpatrick, QGTM, Queens Gets the Money. Matchups QGTM defeat Security Incorporated at 5 minutes, 49 seconds. On to the main show, we have a triple threat match to determine number one contenders to the tag team championship, as we have Leo Sparrow and GKM, the Birds of the Sun, versus Steve Somerset and Steven Azure, the Even Stevens, versus the newly formed duo of Evil Kip and Bryce Donovan. Pretty good matchup these three teams put together. Of course, Kip and Donovan had defeated the Birds of the Sun last month at Top Guys Only. And, I mean, it was to show you how good this match was. The crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." I mean, I can't remember the last time I was at an indie show somewhere where during the first match of a main show, fans were chanting, "This is awesome." I forgot the ending, but Evil Kip and Bryce Donovan defeated the Even Stevens and the Birds of the Sun at 12 minutes, 13 seconds to become the number one contenders of the Tag Team Championship. And once again, Leo Sparrow throwing around that spinach, if it is. Next up, well, actually not next, but eventually out comes the sweeper, Eddie Pravetti, the Mayhem medal holder, and comes in to sweep up, I guess, whatever Sparrow left in the ring, but then he's disrupted by Latina Spice Nat Castle, Utik, or is it Utik Sucio, I apologize if I got his name wrong, and Sebastian Amor, collectively known as Los Toxicos. And I forgot what they said to Sweeper, and they just attacked him, threw the broom out of the ring. Sweeper eventually gets the microphone. He says, "I don't appreciate what you did. There's somebody back there who doesn't appreciate what you did either." And some familiar music played, and out came TNA star and the last ECW World Champion, the War Machine, Rhino, who came to the ring to his TNA theme, that and we had ourselves a tag team match right then and there. In the early going, Rhino attempted for the gore on either Sucio or Amor, but Nat Castle, who was at ringside, grabbed Rhino's foot, and the female referee, don't know her name. They haven't given her a name mentioned her name for some reason. Ketcha sees what Castle did, and she ejected Castle from ringside for the rest of the match. Eventually, Rhino hit the gore on, I forgot, was it Sucio or Amor? Hit one of them. As a result, Rhino and the sweeper Eddie Pravetti defeated Los Toxicos at 7 minutes 4 seconds. Up next was women's tag team action, as we see making their return to Creative Pro Wrestling, Shannon Lavangi and Ava Everett came out in matching outfits, collectively calling themselves the Chaotic Cowgirls, and they were wearing cowgirl hats, and they weren't acting like typical cowgirls, as they did battle with Latina Spice Nat Castle and the Creative Pro Wrestling general manager, the Answer Your Prayers, Ariella Nix. I gotta say, Ariella, you sure can dance, because noticed you dancing when you and Castle entered the ring, and of course that was Castle's theme. I forgot what Cardi B song she comes out to. And eventually, Utik, is it Utik or Utik Sucio comes out still smarting from his tag from he and Amor losing the tag match, and Sebastian Amor, I don't know if he came to the crowd or he went somewhere. He did something to, I forgot, it was Everett or Levangie, but Nat Castle threw the Latina Spice into one of their faces and put the armbar or that crossface submission and got a submission victory, enabling Latina Spice Nat Castle and Creative Pro Wrestling General Manager the Answer to Your Prayers, Ariella Nix, to defeat the Chaotic Cowgirls at 6 minutes 18 seconds. Up next, out comes Will Strauss, and he's accompanied by two gentlemen. He introduces them. One of them is Quinn Griffin, and the other one is Pat. I apologize for not remembering his last name. And the previous two Creative Pro events at the Creative Pro Wrestling Academy in Hicksville, Strauss had called out Dominican Destroyer Vargas and was not very successful. And Strauss called Vargas out again. Vargas comes out, accompanied the ring by Creative Pro Wrestling General Manager Ariella Nix, and Vargas, he just hits the ring and he goes to town on both Pat and Quinn, and eventually gets his hands on Will, who doesn't like being called Bill. And Vargas, let's just say, basically ate these guys for lunch, as Vargas officially defeated Will Strauss at 5 minutes 16 seconds. And after all three of these poor guys left the ring, Ariella Nix gets the microphone and she says to Vargas, ever since I aligned myself with you these past 2 years, you've been champion, you've gone through everybody in your path. So she said and mentioned the fact about Creative Pro Wrestling returning to All Sports in Melville, New York, Saturday night, May 11th, and she asked him, "You can have any match you want." Vargas takes the microphone. He yells, "PCO, no DQ." PCO, of course, currently works for TNA Wrestling, and of course, years ago he was one half of the Quebecers with Jacques Rougeau, wrestled as Jean-Pierre Lafitte. He and Rougeau wrestled as the amazing French Canadians in WCW. Of course, he has the distinction of being WCW Hardcore Champion for less than a day, maybe an hour at the most. And of course, he was multiple-time tag champion in WWE. He's actually former Ring of Honor champion, and so that's a huge coup to get for PCO, a well-seasoned veteran to face Vargas on May 11th. I don't know if I mentioned it. Yeah, I think I mentioned Vargas beat Will Strauss at 5 minutes 16 seconds. Up next, we see Dante Drago is the best challenge the dime piece Aaron Rourke for the heavyweight championship. Very good match these two young men had. Aaron Rourke defeats Dante Drago at 14 minutes 19 seconds to retain the heavyweight championship. At that point in time, they had gone to intermission. And let me see. They went to intermission. All right, and then the action resumed. Well, the show resumes with Tristy and Kyle, who got angry at ring announcer Ryan Peterson for not pronouncing his name properly. And Tristan said he had beauty tips for everybody in Lynbrook. He mentioned about, I forgot what they said. Among them, he said was wear deodorant. He says, "Oh, it smells like Comic-Con in here," and all this other stuff. Eventually, Kyle's disrupted by Jay George. I forgot one of his crew members was with him. Never got his name. And I don't know if Jay George has become a face now, but they had a match right then and there, and couldn't really. Wow. Can't really remember too much in this one, but I know Jay George bled, and Tristy and Kyle defeats Jay George by referee stoppage at 4 minutes 33 seconds. Not sure if something went wrong there or not. Okay. Up next was another championship matchup as we saw Love Doug as he challenged the artist Jake Lang for the television championship. Enjoyable match these guys had. The artist Jake Lang defeated Love Doug at 7 minutes 45 seconds to retain the television championship. And then what was pretty much put on as the main event was the Lucky 7 Gauntlet match, in which the winner would get a heavyweight championship match when Creative Pro Wrestling returns to All Sports in Melville Saturday night, May 11th. I'll get back to that one in a little bit. As we have a gauntlet match which began with Phil Cardigan and CPA. And boy, CPA took off two shirts. I think he took off his first shirt and tie just as the bell rang. And I think he took off his second shirt and the clip-on tie. He took that off as well when he put it back on. CPA managed to pin Phil Cardigan. But then out comes the next competitor, Liam Davis, and he pins CPA. And then out comes the man who defeated Liam Davis last month in a submission match, the Rocker Boy, Nick Robles. Robles pins Davis to eliminate him for the match, but then out comes the crowd favorite, Bobby Orlando, with Bobby Jr., and he pins Nick Robles. Then out comes the leading man, Jack Tomlinson. And Orlando pins him, but then out comes the final participant, one half of the current tag team champions, VSK. And before VSK enters the ring, Tomlinson hits Orlando from behind with a chair, and referee Stephen Dominguez telling him, "Hey, get out of here!" And Tomlinson, "Get out of here!" After being eliminated from the gauntlet match and using the chair on Orlando. Boy, Orlando and VSK really took it to each other in the final portion of this gauntlet match. At one point, I forgot who, but somebody bumped into referee Stephen Dominguez. VSK grabbed his tag team title belt, and I don't know if he did try to use it and he missed or something happened. But boy, these guys were... It's like how bad these guys want it. And eventually Bobby Orlando pins VSK to win the gauntlet match at 37 minutes, 21 seconds. And by virtue of the victory, Bobby Orlando will be challenging the Dying Piece, Aaron Rourke, for the heavyweight championship. And Rourke comes out with the belt, and Rourke comes out wearing the same attire the Cosmic Cowgirls wore earlier on. I don't know if it was the same exact what one of the ladies had. They took it off and he put it on, or it was just an extra outfit they had for him or something. And Rourke tells Orlando, "You'll never take this from me." And I forgot Orlando. I'm sure he was spent and out of it after going through 3 wrestlers: Nick Robles, Jack Tomlinson, and VSK. So very good show, as I said. As I was heading out the door, I overheard one person say that, the gauntlet match started around 7 o'clock. And for the second month in a row, Creative Pro Wrestling wrapped up by 8 p.m. Because most times when they do Sunday shows at 5 o'clock, they would wrap up at 8 o'clock. But for the second month in a row, it didn't make it to 8 p.m., the show, that is. And again, Creative Pro, I wish you and other feds out there that would run on Sundays, I wish you would start your Sunday shows at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock. I mean, I remember years back when the WWF came to Madison Square Garden, they would do Sunday shows starting at 2 o'clock. Sometimes they did Saturday afternoon shows that would start at 1 o'clock. I wish they could do that, knowing people got to work the next day, or their kids have to go to school. But nonetheless, some personal notes. Great seeing ring announcer Ryan Peterson. Great sitting with Tommy, Robin, Sam, and Lauren. Here's some shocking moment here. Something shocking, folks. I actually, to save a little money, I did not take the Long Island Railroad to get to Lynbrook. Unfortunately, the subway train right up the street from my house was not running to Queens for the weekend. I got on one of those shuttle buses, which only stops by the train stations, and it ended at where the E train stops at Van Wyck Berwick Expressway train station where the E train is at. Took that to Jamaica Center, and then took the N4 bus, which runs along Merrick Boulevard / Merrick Road, and that usually ends up at Freeport train station. And it was just after 4 o'clock I arrived, and to my surprise, they had already let the crowd in. Which was a good thing. Sam and Lauren were already in the building, apparently. I didn't see them outside as the line was going in. And Tommy and Robin, they showed up. Yeah, Tommy and Robin, they got there after I did. And maybe it's a good thing they opened up by the time I got there, because I had to use the bathroom and all. Okay. Now, one thing boggles me about the lineup for this show, considering we had the kickoff show had a tag team match. The main show kicked off with a triple threat tag team match. Then followed by an seemingly impromptu tag team match, followed by a women's tag team match. We could have I don't know. They could have put one tag match after intermission. I just didn't quite figure out why that lineup was that way. Okay. Let me see here. Tommy now has his own megaphone. No, I didn't buy it for him. And the people in front of us, I had to tell Tommy to point his megaphone up. That way it's not directly in the people's ear of anyone sitting in front of us. Okay. From there, Ciara, who was sitting across the room from where I was, she was in the front row. I went to eat at the Taco Bell on Merrick Road after the show was over. I was hungry like Samuel L. Jackson's two favorite words by the time the show ended. But, as mentioned, Creative Pro Wrestling returns to All Sports in Melville, New York, Saturday night, May 11th, as they present the 10th anniversary Super Show. As mentioned earlier, already announced for this event, we have the Dominican Destroyer Vargas taking on PCO in a no disqualification match. Bobby Orlando challenging the Dying Piece Aaron Rourke for the Heavyweight Championship. The tournament final to crown the first ever Women's Champion is happening as the Latina Spice Nat Castle takes on the Nomi Gabby Forza. Also appearing for this one, we have making their return to Creative Pro Wrestling, Alicia and Eddie Edwards. They, along with Brian Myers, were known as the System in TNA. Of course, Brian owns Creative Pro with Pat Buck. So I guess maybe they'll be doing a 6-person tag, maybe. They're also making his Creative Pro Wrestling return. All Elite Wrestling's very nice, very evil Danhausen. All right. Now, that's what's definitely happened May 11th. Okay, folks? What I would like to see May 11th, would like to see the Adrenaline Express up. Yeah, the Adrenaline Express, Eric James and VSK, who for the second month in a row did not defend the Tag Team Championship. I'd like to see them face Evil Kip and Bryce Donovan, who are the #1 contenders. Certainly like to see that, since it didn't happen on this show, the Sweeper, Eddie Pravetti, defend the Mayhem medal. All right? I don't know if the Chaotic Cowgirls will be back for May 11th. Shannon Lavangi and Ava Everett. I mean, if they could be booked, put them against Los Toxicos, the Sebastian Amor and Amor and Sucio, the Los Toxicos, put them against the Cosmic Cowgirls chaotic cowgirls if the cowgirls are available for that show. Okay. Now one out. Now here's something I definitely would like to see. Seeing that this is the 10th anniversary of Creative Pro Wrestling, it's quite an occasion. I mean, the first women's champion is going to be crowned. Bobby Orlando's facing Aaron Rourke for the title. We got PCO against Vargas with no disqualification. The return of Danhausen. The return of Alicia and Eddie Edwards. I think this should happen. Creative Pro Wrestling. This is something you haven't done in like 2 years now. And it's a great way to squeeze wrestlers on a show. I say, bring back the King of Cap Battle Royal. That hasn't been done since 2022 when the Dominican Destroyer Vargas won it. And, well, let me see here. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, like I said, bring back the King of Cap Battle Royal. I mean, like I said, this is a huge occasion. Why not? Maybe there'll be maybe one or two pre-show kickoff show matches based on the magnitude of this show. I mean, 10 years. I mean, not many indies can make it to 10 years. I know that. Pardon me. I don't know what if the Midlife Express are no more because Kevin Tibbs was not on this show. It's safe to say Vlog Bro University is no more because Jack Thompson is now the leading man. Ooh. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I'd like to see Bronson return for this one. That'd be cool. That'd be interesting. That'd be great. Let me see who else I like to see return and whatnot. Let me see. Okay. I think that'll do it. Again, Creative Pro Wrestling, you did great. Like I said, Aaron Rourke defends against Bobby Orlando. Gabby Forza against Nat Castle to crown the first women's champion. PCO versus Vargas with no disqualification. Alicia and Eddie Edwards return. Danhausen returns. And I mentioned matches that I would like to see. So I think that pretty much covers everything. Be interesting to see where everybody goes from here, depending on how things have been going lately for these shows. So I'll end it by saying CAP, 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 CAP.